Everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we're going to be continuing with this page from Hanna Karlzon's book Tales from the Forest Kingdom. So the first thing that I'm going to do is go in with number 083. So this is slightly darker than this sort of bluey green that we used here, and I'm going to use this to start to darken up the bottom of the mushroom. So I'll go ahead and zoom you in and we'll get started. Okay, so I'm going to start here where we started to lift the darker colour a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and just start to go over this with this slightly darker colour and just start to fill this in. So I'm just using sort of light pressure as I go over the darker colour that we had before. And then I'm just going to use normal pressure as I come away. So hopefully this colour will be a little bit darker than the last one, so it'll look like it's getting darker the further down the mushroom that we go. So I'm going to carry on with this colour and I'm going to take it all the way down, probably right to this bottom edge. So what I'll start to do is just lift the pressure here to give us like a little marker. And we'll use this line as like an indicator. And then we'll go ahead and fill the rest in. Okay, you guys, so you can see there how it's getting darker as it comes down to the bottom. So I'm going to continue and start working this colour up here where we left the lighter pressure here. So again, I'm just going to use light pressure and just go over the last colour. Then I'm going to go back in with 056 and I'm just going to go over this bit here just to make sure that it's all blended together nicely. So I'm just going to use normal pressure here and just take it over the darker colour that I just added. And just make sure everything's filled in nicely and blended together nicely. Okay, and then I'm going to go back in with 083 and just continue bringing this darker colour further down. So you can just go ahead and use normal pressure again for this and just start to fill this section in. So I asked you guys on my last video if you preferred more of like this sort of colour and chat or colour and talk alongs, or just like the speed colouring videos with the music in the background. And I got quite a good response from people saying that they actually prefer it when I'm sort of talking and sort of explaining what I'm doing, just so that they can understand and follow along a little bit easier. So that was really good feedback from you guys, because I do like to know what you prefer, because I don't want to make a video that you guys, you know, are like bored of watching or you're not enjoying. So, you know, if ever you've got any sort of comments or suggestions for videos, anything like that, just leave it in the description down below, because I do reply to all of my comments, so I will read it. And then, you know, if it's something that you guys want me to do, like a specific video, or, you know, certain pencils that you want me to use, just let me know, and then we can always work on that and get a video out for you. So again, I'm just going to start to lift the pressure here by this bottom line, and then I'll go ahead and fill the rest in with normal pressure. So because my pencil's going a little bit blunter now, I'm just going to do like a line around the bottom of this. And then once I've sharpened my pencil, I'll go up a little bit closer. Okay, and I'm going to have to sharpen it now because it's far too blunt. Okay, so let's start filling this in under here. So I'm just going to go around all these little bits here and just darken it up around these. Okay, and then for this bit here, I'm going to go over with lighter pressure, just again so that we get quite a nice blend line. I think we'll do it just over this bit here. And then I'll go back in with our lighter colour, which was 056, and then just sort of go over this again, just to help it all blend together. And then going back in with 083, I'm just going to go ahead and fill in this little gap here. So next we're going to go in with 047. Again, this is slightly darker than the 083 that we were just using. And I'm going to use this to really darken up this bottom edge along here. So I'm just going to start from this end and just start to fill this in. And I'm just going to lift the pressure as I go over the lighter colour, just so that it blends together a little bit better. Here we're okay because we've got this line, so we can just follow this line along. And now I'm just going to go in with a bit lighter pressure and just start to blend this up into the last colour. So I'm just using circular motions here and just sort of going over where we left the lighter pressure of the last colour. Then we're going to go back in with 083 and just blend this all together. Okay guys, so next we're going to finish off this little windowsill here. So I'm going to go back in with 100, which was the lightest colour pink that we used for the window frame. And I'm just going to go ahead and lightly base all of this with this light pink. So next, going in with 016, this is a bit of a darker pink. We're going to go ahead and start adding some shade to this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do the top edges so that the lighter pink is in the sort of bottom centre. Zoom you in a bit more so you can see. So I'm just filling in the very top edges of these and then leaving the lighter pink in the middle. And I think I'm going to use this colour to fill in these lower ones as well, so that these lower ones are a little bit darker. And then I'm just going to add some of this colour onto here as well. So just sort of darken up the edges, and I'm just going to drag it all the way along the bottom of the windowsill. And darken up this edge as well. And I think we'll do the same for this side and then run it all the way around the top edge. Next I'm going to go in with 014. Now this colour we used with the curtains, so I thought we'd incorporate a little bit of that into the bottom bit here. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill in these little sort of semicircles or half circles with this colour. Okay guys, I'm quite happy with how that's come out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the same colours for these edges along the bottom here as well, so that they match. So I'll go in with 014 first, and I'm just going to go ahead and fill in all of these little semicircles. So I'll start over here. And I'm just using normal pressure for this, and I'm just going to go ahead and fill them all in. And then going back in with 100, I'm going to go and do a base all around the edge of the purple. So again, like we did for the window frame, just go ahead and fill this in. Then going back in with 016, we're going to go ahead and darken up the top edges. So I'll do exactly the same as what I did for the windows. So just darken up this top bit and this top bit, and then leave the lighter pink in the middle. So you can put a bit more pressure on the very top edge, and then as you come down towards the middle, just lift the pressure a bit, and then you'll get the lighter colour left in the middle. So I'll do the same for this one. And I'll carry on and do this for all of these so that they all match. Okay guys, so next we're going to work on the underneath here of the mushroom. So I've chosen 046. Now this is a darker greeny colour than the colour that we put right up against this edge here, so it's going to be darker. And I think what I'm going to do is fill this in completely, and then I'll go over it with a darker colour and add some more shading into it. So I'll just use light pressure and go ahead and do a base coat on both of these sections. I'm just going to take my rubber and go over this bit here because that's not part of it and I went over that by accident. Okay, I think that's as good as we're going to get. So I'm going to go back in with 046 and carry on doing a light base coat on this. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and darken up this little section here. And this section here. So I'm just using normal pressure now to fill these in. Do this one down here. And this one. Do this one. So what I'm doing is any of the sort of smaller little sections, I'm just going ahead and darkening them up with the same colour but more pressure. So I'll go ahead and do the same for this one in the corner. And then I'm just going to go ahead and go over the lines, add a bit of darker green to them. Then I'm going to go back in with 047, which was the darkest colour that we used here. And I'm going to go ahead and go over this and blend it all together. Because when I put that down as a base coat, it's actually come out darker than what I thought it would. So this will be a little bit lighter, but we should still be able to see the darker colour coming through. So I'm just going to go ahead with normal pressure here and just fill this in. And this is the good thing about doing your base coat in a light colour, because if it turns out too dark, you can go over it with a lighter colour. Whereas if I'd have gone in and put down full pressure straight away, we wouldn't have been able to go over it with this lighter colour. So that's why I do like to do like a light base coat first. And I also think it helps you to do like your blending and things like that as well if you've got light pressure to start with. So I'll do the same again so that we get the same effect. So I'll go in with 046 and do a base coat on all of it. Mainly because if we didn't put this colour down underneath, it might look different to the other side. So I want to make sure that it looks the same. So I'll just go ahead and do a light base coat. Okay, and then we're going to start to darken up some of the sections. So this one here where it's coming down into a point, I'm going to go ahead and darken that up. So we'll do the same for this one here. And then we've got this little one here. And this one. We'll darken up this one down here. And this one under here. And then we'll go ahead and go over the lines. Then going back in with 047, we're going to go ahead and darken this all up completely. Then going in with 055, I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit more shade around the sort of underneath parts. So it's not going to be like really obvious, like in your face obvious, but it's just going to make it a little bit darker just around them edges. And we'll do the same for this side. I'm going to go back in with 046 and I'm just going to add a bit more darkness to the bottoms. So next we're going to move on to this section. So I've chosen 057, which is the lightest colour that we used on the roof. And I'm going to use this to add a little bit of colour just to these very outside edges here. So I'll go ahead and fill all of these in with 057. So I'm just using normal pressure for this and just getting some colour down on there. And going back in with 0.56, we're going to go ahead and do the second section in here. So I'm just going to do the same and just fill this in completely, just with normal pressure. And then going in with 0.83 to fill in the tiniest section. Okay, and for these bits down here, I want to get them to match up here what we did with the little dangly bits of pink. So I'm going to use the same colour again. So I'm going to go in with 0.16 and I'm going to go ahead and fill in these bottom ones that are hanging and then the middle one as well, so that it looks like it's sort of draping down from there. So I'm just going to fill these in again, just with normal pressure. And just fill them in completely. I'm going to do the two side ones a different colour. So I'm going to do the same for all of these. Next, taking 0.14, I'm going to go ahead and fill in these two little ones on the side of all of these. So again, I'm just going to fill this in with normal pressure. They're very small, so you might not be able to see because my hand might be in the way. Going back in with 0.16, I'm going to fill in these dots on here as well, just so that that all matches. Okay, you guys, so that's how it's looking at the moment. So I think I'm going to leave this video here for now, and I will see you next Sunday for the next part.